Welcome back to Red Hood Outlaw right here at Comicstorian, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and break them down into digestible bites before reading them dramatically back to you. Red Hood Outlaw is the conclusion to almost like 100-something issues, but here's a quick rundown so you know where we are in the storyline. We're now back in the present-day timeline where he's teaming up with Artemis and Bizarro, and they've just been tasked by an individual known as General Glory to battle against the Untitled. The Untitled is a villain that Red Hood, Red Arrow, and Starfire fought years ago. So, if you want to know how we got to here, I'm going to give you the full playlist down below because this is basically coming to the conclusion of Red Hood, so it's a lot of callbacks to earlier in the series. And don't forget, if you're watching this, you can find us live over at twitch.tv/ComicstorianGaming, where I'm probably playing Avengers right now. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Click the link for the full story, and here we go. The following night in Karak, Jason hangs out of his food truck yelling, "Welcome to the Red Hut! How can I help you?" The customer says that the big guy already got his order, so Bizarro leans out, handing them in his food. "Here I'm go. Have a great protest!" Jason then asks if maybe they should quit being outlaws and just open up a food truck. And over the comms, General Glory tells them that this is only nominally interesting. "We need to focus on the mission at hand." Glory looks out of his room, stating that their intel says that at least one or several Untitled are here in Karak, but he'll be damned if he can't locate a single one. Meanwhile, a few miles away, Artemis takes down a group of knife-wielding guards, and a man begins to clap, stating, "Splendid! Splendid! You are quite a skilled woman." Artemis bites her tongue, telling him that this interview is strictly to show her skills as a bodyguard, Colonel. Don't get any ideas about her leading an army. The Colonel laughs, telling her, "Fine! Bodyguard it is! Come along." But back with the guys, Jason radios that he's going to head out into the streets to see what they can find. As they close up the truck, Jason says that he still blames himself for getting them lost in that other dimension, and Bizarro tells him, "If I'm remembering right, Bizarro and Red Hood made own choices." Jason says, "Still, we were a team. If we aren't there for each other, what are we?" Bizarro throws his arm around Jason and says, "How I put this? Red Him overthinks too much. Do not worry, Red Him." Jason tells him, "Alright, we should get going. Dukra taught me how to see the Untitled in a crowd. I just have to look for them with my heart." But while they get to work, over with Artemis, the Colonel looks at the crowd, stating that they're all just millennials. Every few years, they gather here and they rise up to find a voice. But you have to give them the opportunity to speak, to feel like they're being heard. It's a sign of magnanimity that Artemis stops him, telling him that she is here to keep him alive during these protests. She will charge extra to listen to his putrid self-aggrandizement. But just then, black smoke fills the air and several men can be heard screaming as they're attacked. Artemis grabs the Colonel, telling him to hurry. They need to run. And the Colonel yells that it's those damned students. How can they be so deadly? As the Colonel runs ahead almost into the haze, Artemis grabs him, telling him that is definitely not the students. From the darkness, Essence steps out holding the blood blade, stating that because she is a friend of the family, they do not have to fight. But she does not step away from this vile creature. Artemis swings her sword, asking if she's involving herself in local politics. Figured that would be beneath her. Essence says that she has reason to believe that the Colonel here is working with the Untitled. As Artemis is knocked down, she says that Jason shares her suspicions, hence the ruse. Rather than fight, we should marshal our strength for the greater good. A thin slice appears across Essence's cheek, and Artemis gets up, stating that this is her chance. But back with the others, Jason is sifting through the crowd with Bizarro and General Glory when he realizes something. The Untitled are among them, but not just one. What's more, they aren't preying on fear or hate because there isn't any in these protesters. They're preying on their hope. A voice tells him that is precisely what they're doing. Optimism is a powerful drug, and General Glory stumbles back to see the Untitled show itself, asking, "What in God's name?" Jason takes out the All Blade, stating that the Untitled have never been this bold before. They shouldn't have tried this without the obelisks. Glory yells that they have to find those obelisks and destroy them. Bizarro punches an Untitled, asking, "So only fight ugly ones, right?" And Jason calls back, "Yo, that's right, B! The people of Karak are not going to fall. This is the last day that the Untitled will walk the earth. That I can promise." As everyone begins to fight the Untitled back, one of the unaffected civilians begins to shout, "Save us! Save us, Superman!" Bizarro turns to him, "Serious? You not know who I am?" He punches a hole in the wall, yelling, "Bizarro says flee here! This way I'm safe. An Untitled jumps out from behind to attack Jason, but Glory lunges at it, yelling, "Look alive, Gold Brick! I didn't bring you and the pretty boy all the way here to stand around posing." Jason gets back into the fight, but when no one is looking, Glory notices a cut in his stomach, and Jason thinks to himself that this shouldn't be happening. This is his fault. He thought he had killed these things off. Hopefully Artemis will not have to deal with this. However, for Artemis, she's dealing with something entirely different in the form of Essence. Artemis kicks Essence back, telling her, "You're supposed to be trapped in the Blood Blade. How did you escape?" And Essence tells her that she didn't. Not really. At that moment, Essence's form changes, and suddenly Isabel is in her place, stating that she is Jason's friend, right? "Please, help us!" Artemis pauses for a moment, asking, "What happened?" But Essence reappears, stabbing into Artemis, stating that she happened. She needed a human vessel, though it only fitting to take one of their mutually beloved Jason held so dear. Back with Jason, Bizarro begins to blow the Untitled away with his freeze breath when Jason notices Glory just, standing there. He reaches out asking, "Hey, is everything okay?" And Glory looks at the thing forming inside of his wound, and he says, "I'm sorry, kid." Glory turns back as the Untitled reaches out of Glory's mouth and grabs Jason by the neck. And Jason says, "Oh, well, this one's different. So you're the leader of the Untitled, right? The Unspoken? You were supposed to be a myth." The Unspoken throws Jason back into Bizarro, with Bizarro asking, "They am not attacking, just waiting. But for what?" Just then, there's a rumble on the ground as 6 obelisks burst out of the ground surrounding the two of them. Jason looks around, stating, "Those obelisks we were looking for?" And Bizarro tells him, "Yes." And Jason finishes, "Yeah, well, we just found him, B." Over with Artemis, Essence cuts into her stomach once again, telling her, "You didn't have to get involved." And Artemis coughs, telling her, "You were once Jason's friend." And Essence tells her that that is the reason why she came here, to stop him from whatever evil she sensed him planning. Artemis struggles, telling her, "You're wrong. Jason would never threaten the world. You of all people should know that, Essence." Essence stomps down on the cut, telling her that the Blood Blade can only draw blood of the guilty. "Don't try and come off as holier than thou, Artemis." As Essence raises the blade, there's a flash of light, and Essence falls to her knees. Artemis opens her eyes to see a woman with long red and white hair holding Essence by her hair, and she asks her, "Who?" The woman says that she knows her name. "Say it." Artemis's eyes begin to water as she quietly says, "Mistress." In the main square, the ground continues to shake, and Bizarro grabs Jason, telling him, "We should be somewhere else." As the two move out of the circle, the ground breaks open and a twisted world begins to spew forth. Bizarro asks, "What happened to ground?" And Jason looks down, telling him, This isn't possible, B. The only entrance to the Chamber of All has only ever been in the Himalayan mountains." Bizarro then asks him, "So, this ain't bad?" And Jason tells him, "A mystical labyrinth the Untitled can use to travel virtually anywhere in time and space? Yeah, it's way worse than bad, B." After a few more moments, Bizarro asks, "These steps, the doorways, all in flux." And Jason says, "The chamber is infinite, eternals in both directions, B." Just then, the Unspoken shouts gibberish, and Bizarro asks, "Anything me can help, old man?" Jason pulls out the old blade, telling him, "Yeah, stand back. There's only one way to kill it, a stab into the gut." So a few moments later, Bizarro is picking up both Jason and Glory, and after setting them down, Bizarro tells them, "Me am sorry you had to kill." Jason tells him, "It's not anything like that. In fact, it's quite the opposite." Glory suddenly jolts up, asking, "All right, what happened? How am I still alive?" Jason helps him up, telling him that the All Blades only work on mystical creatures. He's just suffering simpatico pain. Back with Artemis, Essence begins to pick herself up off the ground, telling her, "Great, now there are 2 of you." But Artemis sighs, asking, "Why now? Why take a human form now?" Mistress tells her that they were separated. Their bond was torn asunder. She was free, but in truth, she was nothing without Artemis. Essence summons her Blood Blade, telling them that she will not be doing this little family reunion. They have to stop the Untitled before. But as Essence gets closer, Mistress stands up, grabbing her by the neck, telling her, "No one is talking to you. Give me a reason why I should not end you and your nonsense right here and now." Essence struggles to breathe. "Because I alone could stop Jason from betraying us to the Untitled." Just then, a weak voice calls out, "Salvation, salvation, please, before it's too late." Essence looks back, and after a second, she pulls the blanket over the beggar, yelling that she knows that voice. Saru! Saru raises his hands, telling him, yeah, hey, how's it going? Moments later, back with Jason, Bizarro, and Glory, a portal opens up, and out floats Saru, telling everyone, at long last, the tenuous union has borne a damnable fruit. Glory looks up, asking, all right, who the hell is that kid? And Jason tells him that that is Saru. He's actually a few thousand years old, and he was the protector of the Chamber of All. Bizarro says, then he am not very good at his job, just saying. Jason points his sword at Essence, stating that there is one other problem. How the hell did you escape the Blood Blade? Essence says that this is neither the time nor the place. They have other things to worry about. Artemis steps between them, stating that she's right. Essence is not the enemy today. Essence goes on, stating that she is sorry that she believed that he was a traitor to the Allcast, but it was Saru's doing. Saru said that the traitor was too strong, that he never thought their plan would work in all fairness. Glory tells him to take a good hard look. It sure as hell seems to be working. Saru then asks everyone if they notice those eyes poking out. That is Trigon of the dark dimension behind the door of Azarath. So we might as well stop him before he enslaves the world. There's only one way to stop him, which is why everyone has been brought here to this spot. Jason thinks on it, stating that there's only one way to stop him, and that would be to destroy all of the chambers. We need to get to the anti-chamber, and Saru will bring us there. Artemis turns to Mistress, stating that she is honored that they get to ride into battle together, as equals for once. But as Artemis looks, she sees Mistress has changed back into her weapon form. And with one hand, she says, to me, Mistress! And in a flash, she stands in her battle gear, ready to fight. Once everyone is set, Saru leads the group down below, and after some time, he says, here we go. Glory looks at the wall ahead, stating that it looks like a dead end, and Saru holds out his arm, telling him that that is a possibility. I'm just kidding. Jason puts on his mask, stating that he needs to step away. Go ahead and start without him. Everyone turns, and Jason and Bizarro look down at the doorway at Trigon, stating, you don't have to do this, B. It almost feels like we're abandoning you. Can you really hold up against Trigon? Bizarro places his hand on Jason's shoulder, and he tells him, that's not the real question, right? Shoo! Jason says that he's pretty sure it's pronounced shoo, but fine. As Jason leaves, Bizarro turns back to the doorway, jumping through, yelling, me am got this! Me am got this! Me am got this! Elsewhere in the Chamber of All, the rest of the team locates the obelisks, surrounding a group of villagers. Jason says, all right, we gotta get the hostages to safety before, but Essence yells, no! They are less than a priority. Jason asks, does the term chosen one ring any bells? I'm not sacrificing anyone. And Essence says that the All Blades can't cut through marble. But as the two bicker, Artemis grabs Mistress, jumping down, slamming the battle axe into an obelisk. Meanwhile, over in hell, Trigon towers over Bizarro as he pins him to a war. And Bizarro tells him, this am unpleasant. Trigon tightens his grip, stating, I had to deal with the Untitled. They were going to open the Chamber of All, and I was going to step through and take over Earth once and for all. But I'll be damned even more than I already am if someone is going to stop me, let alone one miserable human. Bizarro uses his ice vision to freeze Trigon's arm, telling him, Bizarro am good news for Big Red. Bizarro am much worse than human. And then he punches him, telling him, see? Trigon shouts in pain, you dare lay a hand on Trigon! All the lesser demons watching ask, do we cheer? Is this the end of Trigon? Woot woot! Back up above, one final crunch can be heard, and Essence says that she did not think that this was possible. Artemis scoffs, stating, of course you didn't. What now? Saru says that they just created a slim chance at stopping Trigon's rise. The demon and the Untitled needed all 8 obelisks in one place, and the remaining ones can't sustain the energy necessary to keep the doorway open. Jason then yells to Glory and Essence that they need to go help the hostages get topside. So he grabs Saru by the neck, telling him that the turncoat promised a way to close the chamber forever. And you damn well better deliver, Saru. A short while later, with the last of the hostages being brought out, Glory feels a rumble in the ground, and Essence yells that Jason's plan is working, maybe too well. Glory says that the whole place is falling apart. The outlaws are about to be killed. A little below the antechamber, Jason and Artemis begin to push the door shut, with Jason asking, this'll close out Trigon completely? Saru says definitely, and while they're doing that, he's going to escape. Saru begins to flee, and Jason says, right. "Run ahead, you coward!" And Artemis tells him that the traitor deserves a fate worse than death. As the two struggle, Glory steps down stating, "Look alive, gold bricks!" And Artemis says that she's pretty sure that that is derogatory. With everyone pushing, the doorway begins to close, and Jason looks through it, seeing Bizarro. He pauses for a moment, but Artemis tells him that he needs to focus, or Bizarro's sacrifice will be for nothing. Everyone begins to go back to pushing when suddenly the Untitled creep up, and Jason quickly turns back with the All Blades, yelling, "You are not getting past me!" Just then, several red arrows are shot into the Untitled, and a younger version of Red Hood appears, stating, "Looks like you guys could use a hand." Artemis looks at Red Hood, Arsenal, and Starfire, asking, "Wait, is that you?" Jason tells him, "Maybe?" And Glory sighs, stating, "This is why I hate magic." And Essence yells that this is exactly why she loves magic. But meanwhile, back in hell, Trigon tells Bizarro that out of the respect that he has for him being the first worthy opponent in several millennia, he will use his body to bludgeon untold millions to death. Bizarro stands up, telling him, "Never!" And he lunges forward, punching a hole through Trigon's chest. As the black blood splatters, Trigon falls to the ground, and Bizarro holds up his heart. Whoops, that escalated quickly. And that leaves us at issue 47 of Red Hood. Yeah, I told you guys that we were going to be doing much larger videos, and that was the entire purpose. But wow, did we just get left on another cliffhanger, didn't we? Well, here's the sad part, guys. That was 4 issues. We did 44, 45, 46, 47, and then the book went on to a hiatus. You see, what's going on right now in the Red Hood book is it has crossed over into Batman's Joker War. And when that resolves in about a week or two, we're going to give you the finale, including Red Hood's portion of it. Then we're coming back for the finale to Red Hood and the Outlaws. Because at this point, it's going back to being Red Hood and the Outlaws for the ending of the individual Scott Liddell, who's been writing this since like all the way back in the New 52. He's got a 10-year run with Red Hood, and it's coming to its conclusion. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once that conclusion happens, we'll be bringing it out. But this leaves us in a bit of a moment. What are we going to bring out next here on Sundays? Your options are Justice League Dark, we get all caught up on that current storyline. Suicide Squad, we get all caught up on that storyline. Or you get a super long storyline where we cover Wolverine Weapon X. Let me know in the comments down below which one of those you want us to cover next. The finale to Red Hood, once it's wrapped up in comics, will come out as a Friday video. So just make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification, and you will know when it comes out. Most likely, it's going to be about a month or two, though, because we literally do not have the conclusion yet. We need that issue to come out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the link down below. Support the Red Hood books yourself. Go check it out. Get it yourself. And I will see you next time right here at Comicstorian.